If there's one word that'll likely compete with Trump and all the campaign reporting and punditry, it's polls.
As Conservatives slide in the polls.
Who's leading in the polls?
Well, we are seeing that the Liberals now lead in the polls.
Sure, polls are always a hot topic during elections, but the story the polling is telling this time?
I've been following polls in Canada, provincially, federally, for the past decade, and I've never seen such a sharp turnaround.
These lines are from CBC's poll tracker, which combines every publicly available poll going back months. As recently as January 6th, you can see the tracker had the Liberals at just 20% support, with the Conservatives more than double that. Well, since then, the Liberals have surged into top spot. No wonder everyone is talking about the polls. Except these top-line numbers aren't really what pollsters talk about.
This national horse race number, it actually means nothing. Nobody's going to get elected based on that number.
Janet Brown has been called the Oracle of Alberta, and she's earned it.
My numbers are matching up very nicely, both in terms of seats and popular vote.
In the last two provincial elections, her polls were the most accurate of any publicly released reports. Brown has a long track record of getting it right. So what does the pollster pay attention to in a federal election?
Well, first and foremost, I look at the regional data. I go as granular as you possibly can. And the first thing I always look at is Alberta, because I know Alberta. If Alberta doesn't make sense, I just don't pay much attention to the poll. The next place I look at is Quebec, because it's an interesting entity all its own, and some pollsters are good at measuring Quebec and others aren't. So I start to look at those regional numbers. Do they make sense on a regional basis? If the regions make sense, then the poll adds up to something reasonable. If the regions don't make sense, I don't pay much attention to it.
If the regional samples hold up, then she gets even more granular, looking at how much weighting a pollster has done. Now, you see, no poll is ever going to produce a perfectly representative picture of the population as a whole. That's where weighting comes in. If a pollster thinks one demographic or another has been over or undersampled, they try to correct for that in their modeling. But it's not an exact science, and this is where things get interesting. Because while the Liberals may have the lead and the momentum, in a race that appears to be this tight, if the weighting is off even by just a little bit, the ultimate poll could produce a surprise.
Here in Alberta, and to a lesser extent in Canada, there is this trend where pollsters tend to underestimate Conservative voters. Now, there's other mistakes that pollsters can make, but just making sure you have enough Conservatives in your sample, we call them shy Tories. That's one of the common mistakes that gets made, and so as a pollster, I would want to see a good-sized Liberal lead before I was confident the Liberals really were in the lead.
Okay, so to recap, if you want to understand what the polling is telling us, pay more attention to the regional numbers than the national horse race, whether those patterns hold, and keep in mind, you may not be seeing the true strength of the Conservative vote.